Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Talk with Sorintan Haure. Today we brought to you a very exclusive interview with a very special person. Today we have Mr. Lakpachui Siro, National Executive Member of National People's Party. We will be discussing about various issues the people of Manipur has been facing. So it's a pleasure and honor to have him here as our special guest of this special episode. Mr. Lakpachui Siro, thank you so much for joining us for this special episode. Welcome to this show. Just before we start the conversation, and to make it more interesting, I would like to start with a very interesting question, which is the withdrawal of support by your party, which is the National People's Party, from the Biren Singh-led government. We would like to know the objective and also the reason behind this withdrawal. Because you were a part of this government, so what would you like to say about this?
First of all, thank you very much to Indigenous Hills Network for inviting me in your show, and my warm greetings to all your esteemed viewers. Yes, you are asking about the withdrawal of NPP to the Biren Singh-led government in Manipur state. It's a very difficult decision for the National People's Party. We are an NTA coalition partner in the center. NPP is a coalition partner in central government. Also a coalition partner in Arunachal Pradesh, in Nagaland, also in Meghalaya. So why specifically in Manipur we have to withdraw? It's a very painful, difficult decision for the state leadership as well as for the central leadership of NPP. The conflict has somehow gone out of control, and it has even led to the killing of even innocent child, 8 months old. I think that is a very painful thing, and when the state government that is bound to protect the life and property of every citizens, when the state government has failed to do that, we feel that the government has miserably failed the citizens of the state, and our withdrawal is also, in a way, it's expressions that we are with the people of Manipur. Okay. We feel the suffering, and we will stand for the normalcy and for the people of Manipur to bring back normalcy.
Okay, thank you. But NPP was part of the government. NPP MLAs were part of the Biren Singh-led government. So do you mean to say the voices of the MLAs of NPP were not heard by the Biren Singh-led government or by Biren himself?
See, one thing is, we support the Biren-led government. Mm-hmm. But having said that, there is no single cabinet minister from NPP. Okay. So BJP on its own has more than 30 plus MLAs. So in a way, most of the decisions, governance, they control. Okay. But since we are also a alliance in central government, in NDA, that's why we have supported in the state. All right. But the policy or otherwise the leaderships provided by Biren-led government has failed. The number one priority, the number one duty of the government to protect life and property of their citizens. So yes, violence happens, conflict happens everywhere, but to continue 19 months, 18 months is too much, and situation is getting deteriorated, right, and it is getting more worse than it was last year.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The withdrawal of the support is because of this ongoing conflict. So I want to come back to the conflict. The ethnic conflict happened since the 3rd of May 2023. But most people feel that that is not the actual root cause of the ongoing conflict. So in your observation, how do you perceive this conflict? What are the root causes which led to the ongoing ethnic conflict between the Meitei community and the Kukis community? And also your observation on this particular war between the two communities.
See, I think we have to look back the Naga Kuki conflict. Okay. When Narasimha Rao government initiated the Look East policy in the year 1991, just around that time, there was a huge conspiracy to drive out Nagas from the very important trading center which we call More. As we all know, this More town is the actual landowner is Maring and Mayon tribe. We have Tangkul villages also. But the Kuki who came in the later part of 1970s and early part of 1980s, unfortunately with some support from the state government, because they're silent observer of what happens, and then there was a lot of allegations that the state government was supporting the Kuki militants and those who support the Kuki militants. So why I say this ACIS policy? This ACIS or earlier Lukis policy.
Right.
We all say that this century, the 21st century, is a century of Asian countries. Why we call this? Because of the increased economic activities, transnational economic activities. And More becomes very important trade corridors and trading hub. So now, especially the Kuki, maybe with certain tacit support from certain sections of Meitei community, they try to appropriate and they try to chase the Naga out of this important trading route.
Okay.
Later on, what I observe is the Kukis become too greedy. And that's why they wanted to chase out all other communities except Kukis. So this has become a very serious problem. Secondly, it's also a mixing of another issue, that is we have been highlighting to the state government. We strongly objected the creations of Kangpopi district.
Right.
Otherwise, it's known as Salar Hills district. Our main objection is this. This has been the ancestral homeland of Naga people to grant, and then with the increased influx of migration, illegal immigrants, we call it, they have started claiming that this belongs to them. And when the Manipur state created on the 8th of December 2016, the Kangpopi district, we strongly objected because there was a full memorandum of understanding with the government of Manipur. Also, there was a representative from the center. Ignoring all this background, the state government has done so. Now this has become a foundation of claiming homeland for the Kukis. Secondly, it has also created problem for the Meiteis. Why? There was an increased number of Kuki settlement in the valley.
Right.
So land become a major issue for the Meiteis. Hence, they have adopted different strategy. One strategy was to claim themselves as a scheduled tribes community, which become
By the Meiteis.
by the Meiteis, which becomes another major issue. So I think the Naga, it's important to segregate problems, identify problems. Yes, for the Nagas, we cannot accept illegal immigrants forming villages in our land. That is wrong, constitutionally wrong, and on the right perspective of indigenous right, it is wrong. They are uprooting the villages of indigenous people, Naga indigenous people, and they are the one who is settling in many parts of the Naga.
Do you think, or do you believe the Kuki community have been settling or encroaching in the lands of the Nagas?
Definitely, yes. Even in the recent example, in Kamchong district, because of the ongoing conflict in Burma, we have received informations from the state level, from the state authority, that more than 5,000, 6,000 outnumbering the local villages.
Right.
So that is in the span of few months. Myanmar, in its existence, has been very, conflict-ridden country. So this, in a way, and then they are very anti to Chin people and Kuki Chin people. So whenever this conflict takes place, where will they go? And because of, so I think we need to categorize Kuki people. Yes, people who have stayed in Manipur, let's say before 1961 or 51, some,
Okay.
acceptable cutoff year has to be there.
Right.
But people who migrated after, let's say 71, or maybe 51 or 61, whichever, that has to be, formulated with consensus by different stakeholders. But if we, let's say, go for 1971 cutoff year, then all the Kukis, in fact, every one of them living in More town, they are illegal
Okay.
because they came, like I said, around later part of 1970s and early part of 80s.
Okay.
But I was about to touch that ST demand.
Right.
The way the Meitei, just because of their insecurity, to secure their land, to secure their interests, they have come up with the idea of claiming themselves to be a scheduled tribe. As you know, there are 22 recognized national languages, which is recognized in 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution, and Manipuri is one of them.
Yeah.
There are only 9 classical dance in India, and Manipuri dance is one of them. They claim that since 1933 Pakangba, they have a continuous ruler, king, and written record. They have a script. They are well integrated with the very old civilization, Sanskrit civilizations. Now to claim that they are ST, I think that is completely unconstitutional, and that is also an insult to the tribal communities in Manipur. But when I say tribals, the illegal immigrants, say after, let's say before independence,
Okay.
Kuki people who have come before independence, yeah, that's somehow we have to agree that okay, they might not be, they are not indigenous, but they are citizens of Manipur. We can say that.
Okay.
But people who recently migrated without proper documentation, without valid entry, they are illegal immigrants.
So do you believe that the indigenous people of Manipur are the Meiteis and the Nagas?
Yes, of course. they are.
Okay. Just the two of them, or what about the Naga community? Are they indigenous to Manipur, or they are illegal immigrants, or like you said earlier, just prior to the independence, are they just the citizens of Manipur, or are they also indigenous people?
You mean the Naga?
No, the Kuki community.
Kuki, see, Kuki is, if you look at the Chin settlement pattern, maybe some parts, they might be the first settler.
Okay.
These are the indigenous.
Okay.
But invariably, most of these Kukis are not indigenous.
Okay.
They are citizens. They can be called citizens.
Right,
For
right.
example, if they have come before the creation of India. But to say that they are indigenous is wrong. So that's why when I say tribal,
Right.
I'm talking about the tribal in the sense of indigenous.
Okay.
So Meitei claiming indigenous, I think that is too much on their part. I think any Naga MLAs remaining silent on this issue, demand made by the Meiteis, I think that they are failing their duty.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you have highlighted about the Kuki community, the influx of illegal immigrants as one of the reasons of the ongoing conflict, and also the state of Manipur, who had been a mute spectator of the influx, during the 1990s as well. And the demand for the ST community by the Meitei communities as well. Are these the only reason behind this conflict, or do you think a certain community, like for example the Meitei community, the dominant community of the state, do you think they have certain thing to do with the stepmotherly treatment to the tribals, to the hill districts, which may have led to this ongoing conflict, or differences between the hill and the valley?
I think the level and the magnitude of violence that has taken place since the 3rd of May, for an example, there are certain communities, Meitei communities, who has invested all their life savings, their father's generation saving, their property, everything gone in just 2-3 days. Likewise, the Kuki people who have invested so much of their resources. So obviously, that strong level of bitterness, hatred. For example, I'll give you the example of Kokomi. Kokomi, Momoko and, not Kokomi, Momoko.
Okay.
Momoko and Livingstone example.
All right.
Yeah, in I think that was in
2016.
2012. If I'm not mistaken, 2012, in later part of 2012. So when this happened, just because of a single slap on that actress, somehow disturbed the whole, traffic movement, Ukru Infa traffic movement.
And December 18, I think. It was December 18.
Yeah, I think it's subject to correction. So violence was also resorted to the Naga people. That December 18, 2016 was the creations of 7 new districts.
Okay.
That was different.
All right.
But I'm talking about
this, the actress Momoko.
Momoko.
Allegedly slapped by the individual.
One name Livingstone.
Okay.
So just a slap can create so much of damage, because we are very emotional people. Two individual might have some problem, but you try to make it as a community problem. So when the violence in the magnitudes and scale that we witness since the 3rd of May, obviously the level of hatred, the level of bitterness toward one another, it will further grow. And unfortunately, they have somehow taken away so many arms from police armory. So it has somehow created more problems. And what second problem is, any sensible voice that is coming from valley or maybe from the hill, they are being targeted. So you have to go with the sentiments or emotion of the mobs. So that is also, very dangerous. So that is I think one major problems that the state government is facing.
Okay. All right. When you mentioned about, actually it was Momoko, but you mentioned Kokomi. So I would like to take an example of the CSOs, the civil society organizations of the Meitei community. When it comes to issues, when it comes to associations or organizations, they will tag along the name Manipur. But do you think they tend to operate, or they tend to envision only about a particular community or a particular territory?
See, that is very important questions that you are raising. Very unfortunately, take the examples of the recent ultimatum set by the Kokomi to the state government, 7 days, with certain demand. See, one of the demands that they made was the objections of withdrawing 6 police stations,
which are under ASPA.
Which are under ASPA. So now only 19 police stations are outside ASPA. Now they are saying that, okay, you cannot remove ASPA. But this Kokomi, if they are thinking of the whole Manipur, because they are claiming to be a voice of all Manipur, then they should speak about police stations such as Jinghai Police Station, for example, Mao Police Station, Chandia Police Station, or, for example, Chesami Police Station.
Where there are no violence.
There is no violence. There should be no ASPA. But where there is maximum violence, disturbance, law and order problem, it is rather in Valley District and in Churachandpur District. There should be ASPA in that area. But of course, ASPA is something which we cannot accept in this present time, because this is a colonial act. This was mainly used by the Britishers to quell the Quit India movement. So it is a highly anti-human law, but somehow it is still prevailing in northeastern state. So if you are fighting, and if you are saying that you are raising the voice for the whole of Manipur, then I think the Valley CSO must be sensitive on using such terms and also expressing the aspiration, not limiting within the valley.
Okay, all right. Yes, you have pointed out a very interesting point on that. All right, I would like to move forward to the next topic, which is regarding the Naga community. The conflict has been, of course, between the two communities, Kuki and the Meitei community, but as citizens living together within the state of Manipur, the Nagas has been indirectly or directly in many incidents affected by this ongoing conflict. Till now, the people, the Nagas, they have been neutral. And the leaders of the Naga community have always said that they will remain neutral. But then by the Kuki or by the Meitei community kept on inflicting some wounds to the Naga community, but we have never taken a violent step towards either of the communities. So in your opinion, do you think taking the side of neutrality has been the best decision so far? And also, there have been numerous allegations of the Naga community being biased, siding with the state government, which a certain community feels that they are in war with. So, in your opinion, do you think the certain Naga communities, leaders or elected representatives, there have been allegations and accusations of being selfish, that they are taking advantage of this particular conflict and working for their selfish interests only? What would your opinion be on this issue?
Yeah, in your questions, I would like to categorize into two components.
Sure.
One is the Naga's position. Second part is that the role, or otherwise the role the representative are playing, or which they are not playing. So I will categorize in these two theme. Number one is that Nagas, I don't know to put it as a neutral or not, but what I observe is that Naga community is somehow sustaining both the valley people and in hill, in the conflict zone area.
Okay.
Why I say sustaining the Manipur? Because you see, all the essential commodities, rice, potatoes, things that is essential for our daily sustenance, it is flying through Sinapati and Kangpokpi. Tomorrow, the Kuki people can take a very tough stand that no, since the Meitei people have burned down so many of our properties in terms of crores of rupees, and then they have numerous incidents, they have killed so many of our people. So we will not allow, because this is war. They have every, in a way, reason to do that, but they are not doing it. So I think here we need to understand why they are not able to do it. Because the moment they do that, then their supply line from it, because it will pass through the Naga areas. So it will not come to Kangpokpi. So in a way, in order for Kangpokpi to sustain their life, somehow Naga is playing that balancing role. Likewise, it is able to reach, they are able to reach Imphal Valley.
Yeah.
And that is how lakhs of people are sustaining. So in a way, some sense of, breathing space is created by Naga community. And I think Naga leaders have been very cautious and knowing very well that we are all neighbors. For Delhi people, whether we die in number of hundreds or thousands, I don't think it will affect much to them. But it affects all of us. So I think Naga people wanted to ensure that at least we come out of this crisis, and then at least we are able to thrive as a community.
Okay.
But on the role of our representative.
Just before you go there, Amay, some people, or allegations or accusations or opinions, should I say, that, for example, from the Meitei community, they have been saying Nagas and Meiteis are the only indigenous people of the state. So Nagas should side with Meitei community and drive out the Kuki community. The Kuki community feels that we are the tribals. We should fight this war together. And the injustice met to us by the dominant community, which is the Meitei community. That is the opinions raised by both the communities. So do you think which one weighs more? And then are these suggestions or opinions valid? Or do you think the best for the Naga so far is just to remain neutral as it is, which we have been? Or do you think we should have sided with either of the communities?
See, I think we need to categorize. Number one, Naga cannot adopt or follow the path that other communities are choosing.
Right.
They cannot be the leader, or they cannot be the community that leads our way. It has to be the Naga people.
Right.
So just because somehow they started the conflict, the Naga should not jump their boat. So I think from our perspective, we have to be clear on that part. Secondly, when it comes to the issue of tribal, like I said, yes, we have to categorize. When those citizens who are recognized as tribals, so but there should be, like the Assam Accord, there should be a sensible cutoff here. Because we cannot accept all the illegal immigrants as a citizen. So that, I think that at the highest decision level, that has to be, number one, has to be identified, which particular year, and then they should stand on it. But those who are tagged as a tribals, yes, we have a common interest, no doubt. It should, but having said that, just because we have a common interest, we cannot ignore the fact that there are continuous inflow of immigrants. So that is where we have the problem. And then there are a lot of overlapping conflict, even in our areas, where there are a lot of settlements encroaching our land. Yeah, take example of the Sharkapung and the Litan area. People who come recently in our areas, they are saying that we are the landowner. So like this, they are a serious problem. But we cannot, Naga has to adopt a policy and strategy on our own terms, because I think the Naga leader is also fighting or otherwise struggling against the government of India for so many years. So all these things we cannot look in isolations. Just because there is a spark in violence happening in Manipur, we cannot forget all this other issues and other movement that has been happening, and then of course the talks that is taking place at New Delhi. So I think we have to consider all these things. We cannot just jump.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would like to come back to the roles and responsibilities of our Naga leaders.
I think the Naga leaders, they must able to spell out when it is needed the rights of the Naga, especially the Naga or the tribal people. Take for an example, which is very unfortunate. Recently, one of the tallest political figure and public intellectual in India, in the name of Mr. P. Chidambaram, he mentioned something about autonomy.
Yeah.
But forget about the ruling government, even their own party leaders, which unfortunately some of our own community happens to be signatory, petitions to their higher authority, to the president of Indian National Congress, asking to take actions against P. Chidambaram, who was a former home minister and a highly respected political figure. So, just raising one aspect which touches the aspirations of the tribal people, if they have to stifle the voice, sensible voice, then where is the future of Manipur? This is another serious problem. Take for example, how does it affect the valley people when we have a stronger autonomy in the form of ADC and with larger budget? For an example, if you look at the Bodo Territorial Council, they have more than 2,000 crore budget annually. Even Karbi Anglong District Council, more than 2,000. Recently, the three autonomous district councils, Chandia, Khasi, and Garo, they are proposing more than 8,000 crores. That's 16 Finance Commission. So, likewise in Tripura also, they are tribals. Meghalaya is a tribal, in a way, tribal state, but still then they have a ADC. So in a way, the smaller, like IVR Road, or maybe at the primary sub-health center or primary centers, all these things can be looked after by ADC. We need to empower. We need to decentralize. But even to say this voice, it's not about even talking with, leave alone, breaking the Manipur state. But even, or Naga integration. But even to talk about regional autonomy, the Metropolitan community, some of the leaders, unfortunately, they become too sensitive. So, likewise, the ruling government through Honorable MLA Tipu Kangme issued one statement that ADC election is not taking place for so many years. It will be based on selection.
Right.
Why our MLAs are silent on this aspect? Very, very important. You know, even we have instances of violence taking place in Manipur so many times, but still election takes place. But why not ADC?
Yeah.
Secondly, FMR is something that whole Naga CSOs have raised huge, very serious objections that it is not acceptable. Naga people cannot be divided further. There cannot be wall among the Naga family. But they have the state government and central government wanted to start, building that fencing in the area where there is no conflict. They should start with Churachampur.
Yeah.
But in Naga, when Naga population, as by tradition, which the state government is also aware, central government is also aware, unlike the Kuki peoples who are not migratory in nature. You are from Chatrik.
Right.
You will die Chatrik. I am from Chongdan. I will die Chongdan. My village will be there always. People from Tuinem, they left their village. And it's very difficult for us to keep on migrating. It's not possible. Likewise, people living in Chan, let's say in Somra, although economically the condition might be a bit difficult, but still then they have been thriving and they have been living there. So it is the nature, strong attachment with our land. But it is not the case with the Kuki people. Yes, we have a serious problem. So you do in that area. Why? Unfortunately, our MLA is not able to say anything. Similarly with the ATC, they were not able to say anything. And thirdly, we all know when you ask about the genesis of this conflict, we talk about the Kangpokpi district, where they have started claiming as part of their ancestral homeland, right? Yes, problem is there. But how many of us, the sitting MLAs, are now questioning? Because I think tripartite talk took place yesterday or today. Serious discussion is happening. But where is the statement and support from the MLAs? Yes, this was done by the Congress government, but what about the present, be it NPF or other MLAs? They should raise their voice that yes, creations of, number one is that there is a procedural lapses. It is ignoring the existence of 371C and HAC by passing the law, the power as enshrined in Article 371C. They are not raising the voice at all. So I think this is, in a way, when we categorize these two, they are also the role that they are playing in these difficult times. They are not able to spell out. So the moment we keep on dancing as per the tune of the majoritarian interest or the dominant community, we will be further subjugated. Even very recently, which become viral in social media, that Central Road and Infrastructure Fund, out of 57, all in the valley.
Right.
But how many of our MLA have given statement against this mistreatment? Even in the very difficult and very serious, issues, where Nagas, like I said, contributions is in a way sustaining the state. But still then, the guts, the audacity of the majority community, dominant community, to treat us in a manner which we have all seen, that is not unacceptable. But I think the state, especially the leader, must raise their voice. Right. Unless they raise their voice, we will continue to be treated in the manner that we are being treated now.
Right. Thank you, Ella. According to your comments, I feel that the representatives, especially the Naga representatives, in many ways have failed to raise voice on behalf of the people. And just to, end this particular topic, I have a couple of supplementary questions, which are, for example, the NPP has withdrawn their support to the Biren Singh-led government, citing, not being able to solve this issue. But NPF is still in support of the government. Do you think this particular party, is supporting the particular government just for their selfish interests, or do you think, the support? I mean, the support of this party is the will or the wishes of the people, the mass, and also the representatives. Do we feel that they are just being a puppet of the government, of the state government, or also of the dominant community, which is the Meitei community? Because when you were narrating about or sharing about your views on the particular, elected representatives, it feels that they are not representing the voice of the people. So do you think they're just being a mere puppet of a particular government or a person or one community, just to quench their selfish interests?
Yeah, you are asking me a question which perhaps might be not very comfortable, but still then I am not, privy to.
It may be a
that
bit
decision,
subjective, but then
yes, but
people need to
in my opinion, when we look at the new government formation, we always go for who becomes chief minister, which MLAs or which member of parliament gets what portfolio, and which coalition partners get what portfolio. Because that in itself is indications of how influential you are as a party, how influential you are as a partner. But needless to say, that NPF has been a very weak partner. If you look at the 2017, this is where I really admire the leadership skill of our president and the chief minister of Meghalaya, Shri Gonath Sangma. The way he negotiated with the central leadership as well as the state leadership. Out of 4 MLAs, all of them got a cabinet berth with deputy chief minister and finance ministry portfolio.
Right.
NBF only got only one, PHET. Now, fast forward to 2002 election. 22, sorry.
Yeah.
2022 elections. Like I said, which portfolio? What kind of portfolio? The way you get your portfolio, it's also an indicator of how respected you are in that partnership. So it's one of the weakest, portfolios that Biren Singh-led government has given to the NPF. So in a way, if you are allowed to be treated in a manner which we all witnessed in 2017 and 2022, and if you are not able to stand firm, then even in this critical, very critical, because in a way, this conflict has taken Manipur 20, 30 years back. The wounds, the loss of opportunity costs. So many youths were doing business. They're, focusing on various entrepreneurship journey. It has all been halted.
Right.
And we are all injected with hatred, and then our focus is directly shifted away from developmental journey.
Right.
So, in a way, it has really pushed back Manipur 20, 30 years back. In this crisis, in this serious crisis, if you are not able to negotiate your own place, your own seat, then we can't expect much from NPF to take, very sensible decisions.
Okay. So in your opinion, they are just a puppet party.
I will not use that language, but
Okay.
I think they are incapable of taking.
What about
sensible.
the Naga elected representatives? Do you think they still, raising the voice of the people, or are they being like you have mentioned earlier? It's always the majoritarian community, the dominant community, who takes massive decisions about the states, the budget, whatever it is, and then when it comes to issues, our elected representatives tend to be silent. So do you think they are just being, overshadowed by a dominant community, and then they are being a puppet of the state government?
See, one thing is, if you look at the where some of the MLAs, Naga MLAs, you said, Ram Muiwai, in a way, it's an exception.
Okay.
In the assembly, yes, he boldly highlighted how disproportionately funds were given to the hill areas. But his colleague, we know whether they support or not. And secondly, it is very unfortunate to see that Naga civil societies, or even for that matter, even our own community, civil society, our inability to listen to such a very powerful message. For example, if I say that, okay, my district, my constituency, my district headquarters has a drinking problem, and then, drinking water problem, and then we have identified certain areas to be the main source of drinking water supply to the whole district headquarters. And then accordingly, we have done a preliminary research through reputed institutions. We have submitted to the Honorable Chief Minister, but he's not willing to move the file.
Okay.
Submit to the. So I think he has given this statement openly. But how many of our CSOs are taking such statement seriously?
Correct.
Whether it's student, youth organizations, or different CSOs. So either our MLA is maybe in his leadership, he is not able to have a dialogue with the CSO, or not able to win their support, or he is fighting alone, or our somehow CSOs are not interested in the collective welfare.
Okay.
So that is one benefit of doubt. Whereas
regarding that, I think I'm told that the issue has been appraised to the CSOs as well. That's why I heard. I don't know how true it is, but the issue has been appraised to the CSOs. Hopefully, it will work. Yeah. What about the other elected representatives? How do you feel about them?
Yeah. So, like I said, one issue is recently, if you look at it, delimitation was another issue.
Yeah.
So some of our MLAs are aware of the case. How many of our MLAs, they are supportive and not supportive? That is in the public domain. There are many leaders who are very much keenly working on it, and that is a very important rights for the one vote. One vote is equal to one man is equal to one vote. That everyone, we are all equal. One man is equal to one vote. So on that basis, in a way, if you look at the numbers of constituency in the hill areas, the number is incomparable with that of the valley constituency. So streamlining these numbers is very, very important. But somehow we are failing. It has been implemented in Assam. Now Arunachal is Nagaland, Arunachal, and Manipur is left out. So Supreme Court, the new Chief Justice Khanna has also made certain remarks on this, that irrespective of your excuses, this has to be implemented, because election is taking place. If the election is taking place, delimitation must also take place. So, but unfortunately, our leaders somehow on key issues, on key structural changes that will benefit our people, they are not able to identify such issues and then such important aspect, and then they are not able to support. So I think somehow our leaders are failing. Either they are not able to effectively communicate with the CSO, or they are not interested at all. So I think some missing link I noticed.
Hopefully they will stand up and then raise their voice on key issues which we, the people, expects. And also, of course, this is their rightful duty as well. All right, coming to the last question of our interview, I want to ask about the future course of the Nagas, contextualizing the current issue, the ongoing conflict, but also in general as well. Where do you think the Nagas are moving forward? What's the future course of us? What do we need to do in context to our present reality, the situation? We are, yes, the Nagas, we live in different states of Manipur, of India, And also in Myanmar as well, it's a very complex situation. And also the people of the Nagas of Manipur, we are embroiled in this conflict as well. How do you see yourself in future? I mean, see ourselves as Nagas in future.
You are when you say Naga, I think you are trying to include every Nagas.
Yes.
Either in Nagaland or in Manipur or in other parts
Yeah.
of.
If you want
Naga
to,
territories.
categorize it, that's also fine.
Yeah, so I think for us, it's very important to, when we say our roadmap, our future, yes, our future is tied to, number one, the movement which has been happening for so many years. But I would like to segregate. One is movement that is led by able leadership and able organizations. It's their duty to perform and to bring the result. Second part is that we cannot wish away the reality that the Nagas living in the Manipur state has to survive, has to has to ensure that children get the best of their best educations. Yeah, they have to do well in their life. So all these things, these are very essential things in our existence, but somehow we are mixing up. So movement is one, but when it comes to the needs of the Naga people or the roadmap of the Naga people, let me today focus with the Naga people living in Manipur state. I think we have been, in a way, carrying a huge burden. The collective burden, one. When we focus too much on the collective burden, we are ignoring our own existential burden. So that is one reason why when we focus too much on our collective burden, we are losing out our villages. Other communities, especially the Kuki peoples, are settling in many of our areas. We are not able to defend. And then we are not able to at least articulate effectively to the state leadership or to the central leadership. We have to also, that is one area. And secondly, because of this long movement, if you look at the economic conditions of our people, it has, as compared to others, we are really pushing backward. Earlier, if we talk about the Karpi Anglong people, we say that, okay, in various economic indicators and indexes, they were, far behind us. But look at Karpi Anglong today. Look at Mizo people. Look at those, Sikkim. So in a way, this is also, the aspiration of the younger people. So I think we need to articulate our interests very firmly. Like, for example, I was talking about the Congress party, stifling the voice of one sensible suggestions. Here, we have to be firm. Our leader, whether elected or CSO, we have to be firm. How in a way, how does strengthening ATC affects the Meitei people? Right. They cannot be too greedy. If they continue to do like this, Manipur is bound to break apart. So I think when it is time for us to speak up, the leader, irrespective of different platforms or role, I think we have to be firm on that. So this is one area. Otherwise, if we continue with this aspect, for example, one is ADC. Second is that Manipur state, against the interests or aspiration or the rights of the indigenous people, the Naga people, arbitrary demarcations of district boundary. Just for example, if you look at the Yangbok police station, it has clubbed into Imphal East. How can we be happy? All the surrounding villages and the settlement is Tangkhul people, Naga people. But it is, and mostly their voting rights, their village, it's all in Ukru, but police station. So this kind of, stepmotherly treatment, Manipur government must stop, and they can only stop when our leaders are firm. But whenever they suppress us, if we remain silent, then we are bound to, be treated in a manner that they are treating right now. So this is one area. Third area, Manipur, of course, this is at the level of election commission when it comes to many bogus vote, in the hill area, especially in the Kuki areas. So I think in a way this has to be streamlined, and the way state government has been blatantly saying that Sinapati population is abnormal growth. Hence, they are trying to block the exercise of delimitation process. Even in the Kosom also, they raise the similar objection. So this kind of stepmotherly treatment, we must stand up, and this must be rectified. So once we are able to, number one, secure our positions by strengthening the ADC, which is in fact harmoniously in practice, whether in Meghalaya, Tripura, I would mention about more than 2,000 crore. We celebrated when 126 crore was sanctioned, 26 or 24 crore was sanctioned in Foreign Finance Commission to the ADC, to the 6 ADC. In Meghalaya, there is only 3 ADC. Karpi Anglong District Council 1 and Poto Tirete Council. More than 2,000 crores budget. With 1,000 or 124 crore divided by 6 ADCs. Somehow we notice that, okay, through 14 Finance Commission, Autonomous District Council has done this work, water tanky or footpath. So this is the fruit. Although it's a small amount, but if it is increased to 3,000, 4,000, then you will see a real development. And here, if the Meitei, they call Yelhaumi indigenous people, if they continue to block, the development part or the younger aspiration of the younger generation, then Manipur is bound to break. Secondly, like I said, unequal representation in the state assembly. This has to be rectified. And if they continue to, somehow stop the right of every individual, one man, one vote, then I think that they are, number one, this is anti-constitutional, anti-human right, and this is even against the collective unity of the state. Obviously, then the state will break apart. So I think the two immediate roadmap. Number one is that many Naga villages, which are under the Manipur, revenue district and police station, must be within the respective district in the hill area. Secondly, the ADC, real autonomy, real financial autonomy in the manner which we see in other northeastern state has to be implemented. Third, streamlining of representations on the basis of one man, one vote. On the fourth, yes, when it comes to the illegal immigrants, we have to stand firm. There should be a specific cutoff year, and then, yes, they cannot be identified. Those who comes, around or before or just after independence, but within the cutoff year, they can be identified as a citizen of Manipur, but not indigenous of Manipur. And there should be a cutoff year, And then, this illegal mushrooming of villages must stop. So I think that has to be, our
all right,
roadmap.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Siro. It's been a very interesting conversation. Just before we end it, if you have any concluding remark, which you might have missed out earlier, or which you want to, convey any kind of message to the people, Manipur, or the Nagas, or the tribals, anyone, be it anyone, if there is any message you want to convey, or just as a concluding remark, you may take a couple of minutes and then we can wind up the interview.
Yeah, so here I really wanted to, in your esteemed viewers, I'm sure there will be some from the valleys and some from in other districts, especially to the valley viewers. The directions that we are heading, it is not a directions that any civilized society in the 21st century is acceptable. When there is no space for dialogue, when there is no space for discussions, when there is no space for individuals to express one's aspirations, one's idea freely, then that society is not progressing. It is going backward. So Yes, many life has lost, many property has lost. The hurt is very deep. Yes, understandable, very much in sympathy with every one of them. But at the same time, uh, whether it's a government or whether it's a CEO, CSO, they cannot run governance as well as their CSO policy on the dictates of emotions. So I think this is one strong appeal that I would like to make, especially to our friends in the Valley. You go down. Even I have received that everywhere. In the initial remarks, that is also one thing. When the police that should ideally protect the rights of the citizens have taken a back seat, and then it's like a Gunda Raj. The kind of fear environment that has created in the valley. I think that is not something that we want to see Manipur. We want to see Imphal in the coming years. So I think it has to start from the leadership level. We have to be very firm, very firm on what the Manipur wants to be in 10 years, 20 years down the line. And then we have to stick on that. And the kind of progress that the Manipur has made, if they have to be dictated by the mob, and then if there is no space for independent thinking, open discussions, and freedom of expression, I think that has completely, somehow it has evaporated in Valley. Without that, there cannot be solutions. Without that, new ideas cannot come. Without that, you cannot see a new directions. We will be somehow blocked with this crisis.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Lakpachui Siro. Like I've said earlier, it's been a very interesting interview. And then, I've heard you, our viewers have heard you. It's been a very knowledgeable and an enlightening one. We hope to see you in another show. We hope to discuss, bigger issues with you. And also, we wish you the best in your future endeavors. Keep on inspiring us. Keep on inspiring the younger generation. God be with you. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us in this exclusive interview with Mr. Lakpachui Siro. We hope to bring important personalities of Manipur in this show, listen to them, and talk about us. Keep watching, keep supporting us. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.